Good afternoon. So I'm here today with a good friend of mine, Brion Hanks, who's traveled down from Bend, Oregon to come and visit us and talk to us a little about a new book he's just written. It's titled Tales of a Traveler in Poetry and Prose. And it's about some of the experiences that he's had during his life here in the United States. So, Brion, why did you decide to write a book on poetry?
Now let me read from the preface of my book, just one brief paragraph. The intent of my writings is to induce thought, provide solace, inspire, facilitate forms of closure, and help people through whatever may be impacting their lives. Even in my own life, I've obviously, you go through trials and tribulations. You have good times and bad, both happy and sad, and it's part of the journey we call life.
So the title's Tales of a Traveler. Tell us a little bit about some of your experience traveling.
Well, I was born and raised in Bellingham, Washington, which is up north of Seattle, just 22 miles from the Canadian border. So I've traveled into Canada numerous times. In working in construction when I was down in San Diego, I had the opportunity to be able to go into Mexico a few times. And when I got out of high school, actually, in 1966, I went in the Merchant Marine and made one trip. It was 70 days long where I was at sea. And we went to 9 different ports on the west coast of Africa and got to experience truly a new culture with that experience. Anywhere I go, I've always got paper with me and pen to where I can write down any thoughts, describing things, and then often from that I will then write a poem.
So what do you really hope to achieve from your new book about poetry?
Well, what I want to do is obviously share it with the world. I have a new website that I created called www.brionkhanks-poetry.com. That is Brion with an O, by the way. brionkhanks-poetry.com. I want to make a difference anywhere I go. In my career, that the last 10 years of which was a construction safety manager, my goal was to make a safety difference, and of course the key there is that everyone goes home safe. With regards to my poetry, I view it as inspirational, thought-provoking, and certainly I talk about love and loss, and I want to help people with anything that may be causing them of concern, and I view that as a good way to do that is through my poetry.
Would you mind sharing and reading a few verses from some of your poems?
I'd be happy to do that. First poem that I'd like to read is entitled, My Friend. Know that I count you as a true friend, and it is happy memories that you lend. When I am gone, and if you should yearn, it is this that I would have you learn. Quandaries and questions can cause doubt, but problem solving is what life's all about. It's fine to enjoy happy memories of the past if you remember that they fade all too fast. My friend, life is for us to truly live, knowing we gain far more when we give. Don't hold back and don't hold still, for love flows, believe me it will. As friendship remains in true spirit, please, will you please endure it? For you, my friend, I will always be there, and thus never doubt that I truly care. So smile, take one step, and then take 2, as I will always wish the best for you. That poem was written in 1980. The next one I'd like to read is entitled Soon I Will. Soon I will travel at the speed of light, a tremendous journey, not a plight. Soon I will see those who've gone before, and then travel on to see so much more. Soon I will be an angel on high. To get there, I realize I must die. In my mind on this, I shall be clear, as the end of my earthly life draws near. Soon I will experience my soul being set free. Like a butterfly, even still I will be me. Soon I will go from the seen to the unseen, and shall discover this reality is not a dream. Soon I will feel my heartbeat cease. I am ready for my soul's release. For it is with this gift so grand, I shall take the great hand. Soon I will sow immense, unconditional love by watching over each precious dove. Soon I will accept my moment to depart, because I simply know, because I apologize, because I know it's simply my new start. I wrote that poem in the year 2000. A friend of mine, Rich, and I traveled to Arizona to meet with Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, who was instrumental to bringing hospice to the United States. She said to us at that time, when we met her in her home, she was actually in a hospital bed, and she said to us that I have now become the patient. And she had cancer and knew that essentially she was nearing the end of her life. While it did take another 4 years for her to pass on, but very inspiring person, made a difference in my life, because later on I would become a hospice volunteer. As a result of my brother dying in 1989, my own mother became a hospice volunteer. Did that for 6 or 7 years, found it very rewarding, and after I retired in 2017, I became a hospice volunteer myself and continue to do that to this day.
Very nice, and I'm sure quite heartfelt. Do you feel like your poetry can also make a difference in people's lives?
I do, because as I briefly stated, I've written poetry that has helped me to resolve an issue in my life. We go through trials and tribulations. Life is not always smooth. It's not always happy. And we have good times, we have bad times, both happy and sad. And it's been a process for me to simply write things down and from that then create poetry.
So did you ever think about becoming a rapper? They sure seem to make a lot more money than poets.
A rapper I will never be, but I do enjoy writing poetry.
So again, your book's available on Amazon and at your own website?
It is on Amazon. My new website is called www.brionkhanks-poetry.com. That's Brion with an O, B-R-I-O-N, middle initial K, Hanks-poetry.com. And it's musings from the past, present, and future, through living and learning from life by way of love and loss, where courage and character matter. Tales of a traveler rather, in poetry and prose.
Are you able to talk about your brother Tom Hanks at all?
Tom Hanks, I'm actually supposed to be related to him. We're both related to Abraham Lincoln by way of his mother, who was Nancy Hanks. So I guess Tom Hanks and I are related. But
well, you look a lot alike. So.
Sure we do.
Well, thanks again, Brion, and good luck in your new book. I'm sure we're going to see it on the New York bestsellers list soon.
That would be terrific if that were to happen.